Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with another chapter of One Piece, where previously, Blackbeard has been contacted about the fact that Caribou has some information to share. But Blackbeard says it better be good or else Caribou better learn how to swim despite having devil fruit power. After Emmett is once again attacked by Khary, the transponder snail is damaged beyond repair, complete with its shell being exploded too. Poor guy, he never had a chance. That ends Vegapunk's message to the rest of the world. Gotta hope there wasn't too much more left to that message. The Thousand Sunny and its incredibly long free fall. Man, it feels like that fell longer than it took to get from Skypiea, but it finally lands in the sea, with the revelation going out to the world that he who controls the One Piece controls the world. Kobe has made a decision that Luffy needs to be stopped from finding the One Piece, and I believe that it's not so much that he has anything against Luffy, it's just that, look, Luffy's a great guy and everything, but having the fate of the world in his hand, and with Luffy and the gang trying to make their escape, the elders continue to try to give chase, and so Emmett brings out his secret weapon. We find out through a flashback that 800 years ago, Joy Boy gave Emmett a little bit of his own Conqueror's Haki, compressed into a knot, which is wild. We've only seen armament that has made blades black, but to see Conqueror's Haki imbued in something in such a way, and to be used as kind of a bit of a landmine on top of that, or a grenade, it's actually very fascinating. It kind of makes you wonder, could you imbue Future Sight into a weapon? And once Emmett unties the knot, it lets off a massive blast of Conqueror's Haki. Everyone can feel how powerful it is. Oh, everyone who isn't knocked out. And on the Marine side, that is everyone below the rank of Vice Admiral pretty much. And since the elders were so close to Emmett when he set it off, it blasts the 5 elders, well, the elders who were present, reverting them back to their normal forms and sending them back to Marijois, where Mars, who I don't know if he got blasted all the way to Marijois, or he was just in the area, or he received enough damage that he also got transported back to the Room of Authority. I still can't believe that that's what that place is called. But he's there waiting when the rest of them emerge from the pentagram, all except for Saturn, who is still in his human guise, but still stands before Emmett. At first I would think, oh, okay, so because he didn't teleport to the island, he wasn't sent back, but no, he did teleport through a pentagram. It's just that he didn't teleport the same distance as everyone else, as he was on a government ship when he teleported. So I'm not really sure how that all works. Or is it just that the caster of the pentagram is the only one who's able to stay in a location once the pentagram is dispersed, or whatever. We even have Emu having a physical reaction to the sensation of Joy Boy's presence, though to what degree is unknown. With that, we've had our first real taste of Joy Boy, and it just leaves more questions than answers, as One Piece does. But the question remains, will this be the end of Emmett? It seems that everyone else will manage to get away scot-free, and the price to pay was someone they don't even know. What'll happen next? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, One Piece chapter 1123, The Void Fortnight, and that title gets me worried because I'm like, oh god, are we skipping something? Don't skip over too much, no. And this is really cute though, because it makes me think of that one ending where you see Yamato running with all those kids. Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage Volume 11. Sentenced to eat Odin with the person they hate. The children were just being naughty because they're hungry. But I love Denjiro having this little moment. Yamato really gets to live like Odin, and enjoy some as well. But let's jump into the actual story, shall we? A dead calm falls over Egghead. The fires on the island still rage. A call comes into the marine ships. Come in, Egghead. What's happening? But everyone on board are passed out. Oh geez, even Pomsky and Doll are knocked out. Okay, I thought the vice admirals had managed to survive it, but jeez, even they got taken down. Although the Seraphim, S-Snake tries to tap on Pomsky saying, hey, wake up, the Straw Hats are escaping. Which again makes me wonder about the sentience of the Seraphim, that she could recognize that the Marines need to wake up and fulfill their objective and stuff like that. That is wild. I'm kind of sad we're not taking Doll with us though. I would have hoped she'd get to see Saul again. Then again, she might actually follow. I can't imagine there not being a team that tries to go to Elbath. Then again, maybe they won't. Hard to say. The lookout of the giant warriors views events through binoculars saying, whoa, it's true, they're all knocked out, captains. Brogy says, no kidding. While Dory says, was that even stronger than Red Hair's? There was no hostility to it. No hostility towards you. Luffy, still in his Gear 5th form, laughs and then calls out, thank you, Giant Robo! But the robot, now dormant, doesn't respond. But Luffy still has a massive grin on his face. Oh man, once we finally find out the history of that robot, this is gonna be a friggin' heart-wrenching moment, isn't it? I fear for understanding Emmett. Dory says, then let's take advantage of their slumber. While Brogy says, and get the heck out of here. Ga-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Oimo, Kashin, and the other giant warrior pirates say, I like the sound of that. Let's get going, boys. Set sail to Elbath. Rah! And the giant warrior pirate ship sails along with the Thousand Sunny at its side. Bonnie, now in her child form, hugs on to her father. Zoro lets out a sigh. Usopp erupts with joy as he sees Dory and Brogy peek over the side of the ship, looking down at the Sunny, while Chopper freaks out a little bit because he hasn't really met them like that. Luffy deflates while Nami holds him in her lap, with her panicking a little bit, while Sanji checks on the body of Dr. Vegapunk. He walks in and looks down as the body is on a blanket. He says, what you said back there doesn't sit right with me. Was this what you wanted, Vegapunk? Was it? I didn't hear everything you said, but you said some pretty outrageous stuff. It's not often we really focus on a body like that. Is he really dead? Then again, his brain is still active. So what does it mean for his body to be expired? Oh, we cut back to 2 weeks ago on Egghead. Vegapunk says, there's an anomaly in the numbers from the power plant? Shaka says, yes, I'm certain of it. Look at the change in the particle number density and neutron flux. Science gobbledygook. Shaka taps away at a keyboard saying, the amount of energy expenditure on the Seraphim has been inching upward. If that's a mistake in our calculations, it's a grave one. Pythagoras looks at the data saying, huh? Wait, those aren't the numbers we confirmed, are they? Vegapunk says, the response rate is rising, but the power plant remains stable. Shaka says yes, which means that this data represents evidence that someone has stolen some of the mother flame. All of the numbers regarding the power plant have been carefully manipulated to look normal, and the only one who could pull off such a feat. And Vegapunk responds with shock, it's Vegapunk! Was it Lilith? She's evil. It's the same thing that the conspiracy theorists said, but a lot of people immediately go to, well, that would be too obvious. Which is true, it would be too obvious that it's Lilith. Shaka says, I'm sorry to say that we're the only three with airtight alibis. The amount of energy that was siphoned off is vast. Vegapunk says, so it was one of the remaining four then, like Lilith. He keeps saying Lilith. Pythagoras says, and that's why you want us to put our brains on stealth mode? Stealth mode? Shaka says, yes, if this experience is shared with punk records, then the culprit will know we're onto them. They all thought it was Lilith. And then 1 week ago, Pythagoras says, oh dear, I've identified the culprit. It's York. And both Shaka and Vegapunk are saying, what? But they knew then, and they let themselves be destroyed? Was it just Pythagoras, Shaka, and Vegapunk? They were the first ones taken out, too. Did York know they knew? No. No, she didn't. I'm confused. Then we cut to York sleeping. It was smart of them not to share their experiences with punk records, though. But when the others have picked up on that, and again, they didn't pick up on the fact that York wasn't sharing her experiences. As the three gather around, Pythagoras says, the information synced with punk records was all dummy memories. Even the video footage was faked from the camp snails along the infiltration route. Oh, it wasn't that she wasn't giving any data, she gave fake data. Vegapunk says, but why? For what purpose? Also, forgive me, Lilith. As an aside, sorry, Lilith. Chaka says, I found evidence that the sea beast weapons were controlled as well. Pythagoras says, traces of wiretapping white transponder snail usage detected. Vegapunk says, found it. I've successfully recovered the data of this long-distance snail call. And they listen in to York telling the elders, Dr. Vegapunk is studying the Void Century. Vegapunk slaps his head in disbelief, saying, a transmission to Marizua! No wonder Cypherpol was coming to investigate so often. Then cut to 6 days ago. Vegapunk tells the other three, they say the kingdom of Lelucia is gone. The details are unclear as of yet, but it can only be an omen. Pythagoras, keep a close eye on wireless transmissions and underground reservoir levels. Pythagoras says, I will. Chaka then questions, do you think it's related to the stolen Mother Flame? Vegapunk says, I do. She must have used the sea beast's weapons to transport it to the government. Oh, that's how she did it. Okay. Shoot. Even the little things that weren't obvious to us, they know about. Interesting. So filling in the little holes of how York was able to pull all this off. Vegapunk then slumps in his seat, his head in his hand, saying, if I may speak without evidence to back it up, I'm certain the world government is in possession of an ancient weapon. They've used the Mother Flame York gave them to activate it. We will see the grisly results soon enough. I know in my heart it is true, but I cannot go public with it. This is all my fault. I should never have tried to isolate greed from the human mind. The other two remained silent. Pythagoras asked, you think we could apprehend York to keep her from causing more harm? Vegapunk looks up, saying, no, it's already too late. Whatever York is after, it doesn't matter. Anyone who learns of the Void Century will be eliminated. By recklessly handing over the Mother Flame to them, York has demonstrated her potential value. We would have never done such a thing without thoroughly determining the purpose and safety of it first. Chaka says, there is still time for us to flee, Stella. Vegapunk tells him, then I require an escape ship, one that will evacuate all the residents of Egghead. It is too late for us, however. Secret orders have already gone out to various naval branches. They will hound us to the very ends of the earth, and to die anywhere else would be to die in vain. More importantly, Egghead has facilities and tools that O'Hara did not 22 years ago. I have the means to maximize the reach of my voice. So it was obvious he knew this place would be his tomb, but dang, to this extent, the closer I get, the darker it looms. Just what is the world government? He turns to the others, saying, if I must die, it won't be for nothing. I'm sorry this had to happen to you. Shaka tells him, that's silly. We're both Vegapunk too, you know. And both Shaka and Pythagoras say, we were thinking the same thing. Shaka then says, the only question, Stella, is what death will accomplish. Vegapunk says, indeed, there is only one thing we cannot afford to lose. The cloud plant that produces island clouds. Those clouds might be the foundation of humanity's survival after all. So he's thinking of potentially making it so that everyone could evacuate to the sky? We then pick up later in the junkyard, Vegapunk on top of the Iron Giant, as York comes over, saying, what's the Stella doing here? Vegapunk says, York, just doing what I always do, giving the Mother Flame a little test run. If we can move this thing with it, it just might be the ideal energy source. York smiles, saying, that's true. I hope you finish your experiment soon. Vegapunk smiles at her, saying, I do too. He then thinks, but that it's stays incomplete is my only hope. Wow, the fact that he smiled at her while knowing that she had signed his death warrant. Dang. Well, what can you do? Then cut to 2 days ago. Oh, so yeah. That's when he made the recording. Shaka turns on the transponder saying, Snail saying, go ahead, we're recording. Vegapunk says, ahem, hello, check. Is this on? Hello out there, come in world. Ahem, I am Dr. Vegapunk, a humble genius scientist. Then cut after the message is done. They come out of the Iron Giant. Shaka saying, Vegapunk saying, oh no, Shaka is the one saying, I think. It's hard to tell from here. They're going to be shocked by this. Vegapunk says, but it is the truth, and everyone has a right to know. No one will expect that the transponder snail is hidden within here, and now it's set up to transmit upon my desk. Oh! We then see the three of them strapped to a table. Vegapunk saying, to prevent anyone else from learning that we have arranged this little trick, I'll be erasing this event from our mind. However, this will come at the cost of many other memories, such as York's betrayal and the theft of the Mother Flame, and the imminent threat to our lives. We will be startled anew by these things. Shaka says, indeed. Vegapunk tells them, we will be frightened all over again. However, our plans will already have been laid, and the utter disaster that awaits just around the corner, Pythagoras chuckles, while Vegapunk says, is none other than our ultimate triumph. Hey. Leave it to the greatest genius in the world to create the most convoluted plan possible. They then cut to later after their memories have been erased. They wake up. Shaka saying, huh? Why am I here? Pythagoras says, this is the memory mass testing lab. Vegapunk pulls up a piece of paper saying, wait, this is my handwriting. Good morning, gentlemen. You will find that within your memory there is now a void fortnight, but it was done of your own volition. There are many surprises in store for you. Lol? Huh? But I will leave you with one piece of information. The world government knows about your research into the void century. All three are shocked saying, what, they do? They continue reading saying, but rest assured that you've already put together the perfect countermeasure before your hurtle towards your glorious death. He says, death? Whose, mine? They continue saying, and one more thing. Cut to the events of Egghead. Someone yells out, Stella, Straw Hat, the Emperor of the Sea has just landed here with Bonnie. Vegapunk says, what? And someone says, CP-6 has landed. What? We're surrounded by Navy battleships. What? It's Admiral Kizaru and Saint Saturn. What? And then you cut to when Sanji was talking to Vegapunk in that cloud wagon thingy. He was talking to Sanji saying, I want you to know, though we're going down to save Bonnie, I intend to remain down there. Sanji questions, huh? But you'll die. Vegapunk tells him, I don't want you to save me. Just leave me down there to perish. Okay. A lot of people question why it seemed like Sanji didn't do enough to save Vegapunk. The man had a death wish. And Sanji even says, huh? You got a death wish or something? Vegapunk says, certainly not. But I feel like my death might cause something to happen. Sanji says, it sure will. A bunch of people will be upset. I can't just let you die. Vegapunk says, pretty please. And one other thing, when it comes to the One Piece, Sanji questions, what now? I want your crew to be the ones who get it. Oh, he put his everything behind them. Pick up with the giant warriors holding Usopp and Luffy aloft, who's out of it in his old man form while Chopper's climbing up Brogy's beard. Brogy says, a toast! While Dory says, to reuniting with old friends. Luffy in his old man form says, now? Later. While Usopp cheers, onward to Elbaf, onward to my dream. And Dory and Brogy laugh. Oh man, what an ending. I was not expecting all that. I mean, we were kind of done with Egghead, but now we're done with Egghead. Man, I thought at least some of the Vice Admirals would have been able to be awake and at least try to give chase. Don't know how far they would have gotten with them the way they were, but I figured they could at least man one ship to give chase. But the fact that Vegapunk did all that beforehand, and it was obvious he set up a lot of things, but it was also kind of obvious. It's like, okay, this doesn't quite add up, because he makes it seem like he didn't know enough about what was happening. And yet he had to have known a lot about what was happening to have planned for things the way he did. But oh man. So I kind of like getting that one last hurrah for Shaka and Pythagoras, showing that they were on top of things with Vegapunk from the start and got everything into place. So why they didn't pull in Atlas and Edison is actually kind of weird to me. Maybe they thought that maybe it would get a little too out of hand then, but this last little chapter of Egghead, which I assume is the last chapter of Egghead, really helped to fill in so many holes, even holes that I didn't even think about initially. Like, how was York transporting the Mother Flame, the Sea Beast weapon? How is it that they didn't know that there was a traitor? It's like, no, they did. In fact, they knew weeks ago. That's how they got the message set up the way that they did. There's so many more elements to all of this that I even considered. It's just, man. And some people might say that, oh man, that's so hokey, that's so convenient, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, this is the smartest man in the world. If there was anyone who could have come up with an elaborate BS plan like this, it's probably Vegapunk. But man, to erase their memories, but considering that the way that they function, of course he could erase his memories. The sheer fact that he's tampered with his mind the way he has, it makes the utmost sense that he could tamper with his memories this way. And I have to assume that they didn't do anything to York just to not risk tipping anyone off along the way. And knowing what Vegapunk asked Sanji to do to not save him, it kind of shows that maybe Sanji still wanted to try, but maybe he was a little hesitant because like, the dude was adamant about dying here. I don't want to let him die, but he thinks it would be better? What? And Sanji was put in a really messed up situation if that's the case. But this harkens back to a lot of situations that Sanji ends up in where he gets a lot of information that the others don't get at the onset. I'm actually curious what everyone will think once they find out the information that Sanji has. We'll just have to wait and see. What a ride of a chapter. Just info. It was a lot. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think about this revelation of just how much Vegapunk actually knew and how he managed to keep it all a secret? Do you like this reveal, or do you kind of feel it was unnecessary? I'm interested to hear what you think. So like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.